Hello dolls, it's me, Babs, your favorite sonographer. Today I'm here to give you a warning. For those new sonographers, you're about to get hurt. You're going to get injured. I'm an OBGYN sonographer and I've been doing this for 7 years. That sounds like a long time, but not really. And have I been injured? Yes, I have. When I worked at my shitty job, I worked so much that my body went on strike. It was like,
girl, you're killing us. There are no benefits here, no overtime. We ain't doing this anymore.
I was in so much pain that I could barely hold a probe, and I struggled to finish the exam. I couldn't even get time off to recover because I wouldn't get paid. I had no insurance, so I couldn't go for physical therapy. I mean, I did only 1 day, but I paid for it out of pocket. And when I went back to work, most likely the next day, my boss gave me prescription painkillers so I could keep working. That's how much he cared. According to the Society of Medical Diagnostic Sonography, musculoskeletal disorders affect up to 90% of sonographers. That's 90%. 90. That's a 90. And all this information that I'm giving you is not a secret. I just went online and I Googled it just like how you could do it. I went on the website of the Society of Diagnostic Medical Sonography and I got this all from there. So I don't think that they came up with this term, but the term is work-related musculoskeletal disorders. Yeah, I'm reading it straight from there. It says, this term is used to describe conditions that are caused or aggravated by workplace activities. These painful disorders affect the muscles, nerves, ligaments, and tendons and occur in a number of professions, including sonography. Unlike acute injuries that happen in the workplace, such as spills, trips, and falls, work-related musculoskeletal disorders develop gradually over a period of time from repeated exposures to a variety of risk factors and may be painful during work or at rest. So yeah, not only do these injuries affect how you do your work, but it also affects your everyday life, and it certainly affected me. 15% of incidences occur within the first 6 months of working. 45 45% after 6 years, and 75% after 10 years. And 20, that's 20, are career ending. And these injuries are gradual over time, meaning as time goes by, it just gets worse if you don't do something about it. The most common areas that injury occur are the neck, the shoulder, the wrist, the hands, the fingers, the back, even the eyes. I mean, that's not very common, but the eyes can get strained too because you're looking at a screen that's relatively close to you in the dark. And even though there have been improvements over the years with sonographer workstation equipment, especially the machine and the chair, sonographers are still getting hurt. One reason is because not all facilities are equipped with state-of-the-art equipment, plus staff shortage due to injury, resulting in an increased risk of injury because now those sonographers who are making up the work for, let's say, 10 people, but now there are 5, it just increases their chances of injury and it just becomes a vicious cycle. The main reason for injuries is repeat scanning techniques, particularly poor scanning techniques. Also, increased workload with not enough recovery time in between. Some of the things that we sonographers do that increase our risk of injuries are using force when scanning. When we scan, not only do we push for a certain amount of time, but we also hold on to the probe tightly, and that's so not necessary. I know I do this all the time, and I have to catch myself when I'm holding the probe tightly. I don't need to do that. And also when I'm pushing throughout the whole exam, that's also not necessary. Now, if you want to push right before getting that perfect picture, okay, but throughout the whole exam, there's no need to do that. Also, heavy patients, patients who are gassy, patients who have had surgery or multiple surgeries, those in general are harder to scan and harder to get the best image. So we sonographers tend to push. Repetition, repetition, holding the probe the same way all the time, scanning the same way all the time, rotating your wrist all the time, and pressing repeatedly. Anything that you do in and of itself is not going to really cause injury, but if you are repeatedly doing it over time, it will. Which leads to the next thing that we sonographers do that increases our risk of injury is awkward postures. Scanning at a slight angle or twisted, or your arm, your scanning arm, very far from you. That is a big no-no. Contact pressure. For instance, resting your hip against the table, or resting, let's say, your elbow or your arm on the table. That could cause injury over time. So what can we sonographers do to help decrease the chances of injury? First, if possible, adjust your equipment to suit you. Bring the seat up if it's adjustable, or bring it down if you need it to, along with the machine. A lot of the machines nowadays are also adjustable. When you're looking at the screen, don't look up, don't look down. You want to look straight on. You want your body to be in a neutral position. You want it straight. You don't want it angling. You don't want it twisting. When you're scanning your arm, you don't want it to be more than 30 degrees away from your body. You don't want it like this. You want it kind of like this, okay? I don't know if you could see, but not like this, but like this. This is why when I start to scan, after the patient lays down, I ask them to come close to me, because I'm not about to reach over all the way to scan somebody. They need to be close to me. And don't worry, they're not gonna fall. And if you have a very good machine and not a machine that's like 10, 15 years old, the quality is pretty good. So there is no need to press. Now, if you have a heavy patient or a patient that is gassy, there are things that you can do, like switch the probe. There are some probes that are meant for heavier patient or gassy patients. I mean, gassy, I don't know if there's much that you can do about it, but there are probes that will penetrate deeper so you could get a better picture. Now, if you have to press right before you get the image, but not during the whole exam. Also, have the patient move on their side. When I scan a patient, mostly an OBGYN patient, and I need to get the kidneys of the fetus, and it's all the way on the left side of the patient, I'm not reaching over to get it unless the patient is very small. But let's say it's an average size patient or it's a very heavy patient, I have her turn towards me so I can get the not the right side, so I could get the left side of her body where her kidneys, no, not where her kidneys are, sorry, where the baby's kidneys are, because the baby's spine is laying on the left side of the patient. So definitely have the patient move. You shouldn't be doing a lot of movement and a lot of twisting. Just don't do it. Also, if you notice that you have pain whenever you do something, a certain move, a certain position, definitely be mindful of it and try to avoid it, or adjust your scanning technique or adjust your position. You gotta do something to prevent injury. And in between patients, stretch. That's what I do. I'm always doing this, stretching my neck, You know, stand up, stretch, massage your shoulders, massage your neck. I do that all the time. And if you take classes on stretching or stretch at home, even better. Get regular massages. Once a week, if you could afford it, if you have the time, or twice a month. If you could do that instead, it can be very beneficial. Also, work out. Lift weights. If you strengthen your muscles and your tendons and ligaments, it's going to decrease the chances of injury. Your boss also has a responsibility, but it's very unlikely that this would happen. But if they could just decrease the workload, if you're working yourself to the bone, that would be very, very helpful. Highly unlikely, but helpful. If I left anything out, please leave it down below. Have you been injured? Where have you been injured? Did you take time off from work, and for how long? And by the way, guys, my other channel, Babs a Baddie, is up and running. There really is only one video there, and I have 7 subscribers, but don't worry, things are gonna be popping over there soon. I'm working on more videos, so please check out the video that I do have about my ex threatening to kill himself if I left him. It's a good story. And thanks for watching. Ciao!